We have heard that there's a correlation between this business of busing and where people live. Would you want to comment on that?
Well, as I see it, we have open housing in Dallas today.
Wait, decorum.
You know that.
Mr. Lipscomb, please sit down. Mr. We're going off the air. If we have this, we're going to cut off the air. Mr. Lipscomb.
You are lying.
This. Information Center. Yes, ma'am. Fine, thank you.
Supported by interested citizens, the South Dallas Information Center is Lipscomb's current business address. Unsalaried, he serves the essentially one-man operation as poverty crusader, counselor, and resident social worker.
Bye-bye. Everybody's going to call. Everybody's in meetings. I was born on Mackenzie Street, the street that's next to the Fairport. We could hear all the music. You know, you could even see the fireworks and everything, you know, but we could not come over here. You could see people with their children, you know, white people, you know, all shades of people other than the black people could come to the park. And that was really dehumanizing and frustrating us. The purpose of the Information Center is to have an organization in this community someplace with no strings attached at all, to try to be abreast of whatever's happening. How long have you been trying? No one has given you any information on this? This has been sending you from place to place? Yes, connect me with medical unit over there. Give me the assistant to Dr. Williams. Yes, Miss Jackson, this is Lipscomb again. Thank you. Dr. Williams, sorry to disturb you, sir. We have a Miss Thelma Jo Ellis here in the office, and she has one of these respiratory machines that she has to use at least 3 or more times a day, and they are threatening to pick the machine up. Now, for some reason, there's been some miscommunication. Maybe you can clarify. She's here. May I put on the phone? Thank you. That's Dr. Williams. As far as me being branded as an activist, militant, pseudo-militant, troublemaker, upstager, you know, what have you. No, I'm not, because I know within myself what my quest is. Number one is to get the black community aware as to where they really are today. So what has happened to us will not happen to oncoming generations. It will keep down so much of the polarization, insurrections, mythical attitudes and real attitudes that's formed with erroneous information. Yes, you can write and send your tickets in to Mayor West Wise or else to the State Fair of Texas. Yeah. Appreciate it, sir. Yeah, you're a listener. Yes, sir, I sure am. Right. My grandfather was a Masonic man, a God-fearing man, upstanding man. We had hogs then, right on Mackenzie Street. And we used to, after school was out, we would take a little wagon and go around the different restaurants and pick up what we would call garbage. They call it slop. And each time, after we'd get up, say like on Haskell and East Grand, different places where you had the white-owned businesses, you know, cafes and all, my grandfather would have to get off the sidewalk, you know, stop and doff his hat. And I wonder why. You know, it could be just anyone with a white face. It could be, say, the banker, or it could just be one of the stumbling bums.
But I can't see no reason why.
And one day, when I think my grandfather failed to realize, I think he was looking back, it was something must have been, looking back at me and trying to help me get the wagon out of one of the ruts or something. And he didn't get off the sidewalk and didn't doff his hat. And this fellow was drunk. And, you know, and really, he berated my grandfather down and everything, and my grandfather just had to stand there and take it. You know, and knowing the type of man my grandfather, he was a God-fearing man. And I could see tears coming, you know, down his eyes, and just stood there.
Give up your spare time, love and treat her right.
When I was going to school, yes, football was, that was one of the top priorities. I could see myself playing football until I was 109 and listening to the pep squad, you know, and hear them chant my name, L-I-P. Yes, you know, that kind of stuff. Oh, man, that was it. Yeah, that it gave me goose pimples, you know. It just made me feel good. I hate to keep looking back, but I have to do this to get where I'm going now. This your insurance right here? You pay that?
I called 11 cost of Friday.
Are these monthly rates here?
No, yeah.
A year right here. Very good.
I'm going to drop that to household.
Money in checking accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am?
Near $200.
Well, just say yes there if you do. You own more property in the place?
No, Lord, no. I can't keep up with this.
Okay. Now here it says, do you or your husband receive any of the following: Social Security?
Check it, yes. Checked over it. That come out.
Yeah, 102, okay. Wife's husband. Railroad retirement, you don't have any of that kind of stuff,
No.
right? Okay. Do you know anything about these constitutional amendments? This voting that's coming up tomorrow, too?
Yeah.
Did your pastor tell you, did he enlighten you?
No, he don't. I read it. I save the column out the paper.
Okay.
But as far as raising, they need to raise me first. And I'll help him get a raise.
Well,
And
they
it's
should
another
have a
one.
raise. They're only making $4,000 a year, you know, and they are doing quite a bit. That's to keep them from being in some big person's pocket if they can make the proper amount of money, because they're doing a good job there, some of them. And they should be paid. Like the city councilman here, they should be paid other than $50 a meeting.
I didn't wear a dress and I go to town.
Well, see. Let me take this over to Crossroads and let Mrs. Eccles process it, and I'll be back in touch with you, okay? After high school, I really wanted to leave Dallas. That's one thing. I saw so many despicable things. I just wanted to get out of here. You know, say about the Mason-Dixon line. Once you get across there, you're going to be free. It's going to be maybe a different kind of a sun, air, different type of attitudes are going to be different. And I did cross that line and ran into natural horror. When it came back to money and so forth, it was the same thing just like here. Well, all my life, all I have done, you know, really is I was in food and beverage. I call myself a food and beverage expediter. I was going to pursue that and attempt to make up for some of the time that I had wasted wandering and being super slick. I worked at the First National Bank in the executive dining room for 7 years. I worked 2 years as a waiter on the floor, and I worked 5 years as the head waiter on the floor. But I used to see so many little games that I can see now, and I see that now as staggering to see how men can use the word about God and brotherhood, you know, and community chest and united front all in one breath, and can see how they can rip off just whole acres of land, you know, out of the other breath. I would see that, you know, and, you know, you'd walk in and it didn't matter because we were not even, I guess we were just pieces of furniture, you know, just robots like. I was what you would call a super Tom on the floor. I would jump over a table to light a cigarette. I was money crazy. You know, I had to have those tips. Good grief. I know the dollar is very important, but it doesn't make sense for me to make the dollar and I'm emasculated in making the dollar. The black community is going to have to really do something itself also. We have a heck of a lots of money that the people make. And we're going to have to set up some type of priorities as to really what we want to do. Do we want to keep looking in the past and talking about what Whitey has done? We have the money, we have the expertise. But apparently we are waiting for the magic wand coming from Washington or Austin or somewhere to say, okay, boys and girls, this is the way you do it. Would you touch bases here at the TEC there?
Yeah, I just come in here just to get a job. Cause see, I've been laid off my job. See.
You ever done any type of construction work in there?
Yeah, I'm not really enough, but mostly driving truck, man. That's my game now. Mostly driving.
Well, I know a man that needs some fellas. I don't know what it entails. You know, Mr. D. Whitty and Associates, Robert Lee D. Whitty?
Nah, I don't know in person, but I've heard of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's looking for at least 4 men now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's in the phone book. Okay. You ought to go in there and call him now.
In the late 60s, Lipscomb traded his waiter's jacket for a poverty banner, becoming a community organizer with the War on Poverty, a move which perhaps led to the politicalization of Albert Lipscomb.
We all called ourselves community organizers, took our little attaché cases and started running through the community, knocking on doors, giving people false hope. That's what it amounted to. We would assemble groups, have house meetings, and they would come up with their priorities, what was affecting them in the community, the same rap. And good grief, we would meet, call the administrators out, and we would have coffee, donuts, and lots of rhetoric. And nothing was ever accomplished, but just lots of false hope.
As I say, as a child, he was, I never had to, I don't ever remember punishing him, having to punish him. He was the kind-hearted, and share. I never had any trouble with him sharing. And he teach his children, to share. And
did he ever say as a child what he wanted to be when he grew up?
Well, he always said when he was little, he said, I want to be a leader. I just want to be a leader. He did.
In 1971, he ran for mayor. In 72 for county commissioner, and in 73 challenged George Allen's city council seat. Why did he enter politics?
I don't know. I guess after we tried to find someone to run for mayor here in 71, possibly, That's when it really just dawned on me how just scared people really were of the system or something mythical for us. Really, I mean, PhDs, professional, everyone. I mean, guys with beautiful academic credentials, very heavy up here, but just would not make that venture to run against the CCA for some reason. They came up with everything. Some fellows would say, man, I would like to do it, but I'm heavily mortgaged. Others with all type of things, thinking about reprisals. And we say, good grief, if that's happening, man, it's about time for someone to make that step, Since no one else would accept it, we had to let the people know that that office was just not there for some white politicians, And dadgummit, with, over 80,000 registered voters, from this area alone and Oak Cliff. Heck, yes, I had a chance. And you had 7 candidates? Sure did. I really did. I said, look at here. We're going to get these cats to start doing the thing. The dark horse is going to ease in. Yeah, sure did. I think one of the most abominable things that has happened is to take this, as I call it, a white elephant that's in the heart of the black community. It's called the State Fair of Texas. There is a glittering, gleaming jewel in the midst of dire poverty. I see them coming out in their stoles, mink, and what have you, going to the music hall and other places, like they have blinkers on their eyes, all that poverty around them. But there's another aspect. This is right in the heart of our community. The money, people bring the money in here and it goes right back out of the community. So as far as the State Fair of Texas, it has not been germane or relevant to this community at all. Plus you get all the swill, all the smell, the flies, the roaches. You get all the residue that's left after Big Texas gone back into mothballs again.
Mr. Lipscomb?
Mayor Wisner, we have been in the process, along with the Urban League and some of the other groups out there, of trying to get recruits for the police department, male and female minorities. And then I've seen in the paper here where it seemed like some type of a hatchet job being done, where I think there are, 13 or 14 that have been curled out of the academy or something. Now, And we don't get any type of answers as to what happened or why they were fired or called out.
Well, now, I don't know the answer to that. How could we find out what the...
Well,
is there any... is this for various reasons that the 13 or 14...
For a variety of reasons.
Well, that would be pretty private information, I would think. As George says, for you to talk to the chief, and he's offered to make you the appointment, and get a general explanation, I think would be fine. But as to why an individual is fails an examination of that type, I think it would be pretty private information. I wouldn't want to know it myself, frankly.
That I can understand, but for the ones that have organizations that are in the business of recruiting or attempting to recruit, seems like we should get some type of...
I think that's reasonable.
Feedback, you know.
A regular on public meeting agendas, Lipscomb's influence on the body politic is debatable. He comes to raise the issues.
That's clear as that. And then item 4. I would like to just really phase myself out. As you see now, you see more people are coming to the council expressing themselves. More people are going to the internal affairs. More people are going everywhere expressing themselves, and that's good. You know, then pretty soon, you know, I can sit back and say, right on.